Yep.
So I mean, you see a lot more upsets. It's much more evenly matched when you get into the like 7 game series, whereas the NBA, I think pretty much my mom could pick who was going to win each series.
Correct. It's all
You know what
chalk.
I mean? It's all pretty. I mean, other than the Bulls, which that was a hell of a pick by you guys, and eventually it probably won't work out, but still.
Yeah. Kind of upset about that, but
How
yeah, no.
how'd you do the first
And
round of hockey?
and speaking of the Capitals, I think the most entertaining series has got to be the Capitals and Penguins, right? I mean,
Okay, so underrated because this might have been the best series last time, but it's a West Coast thing, and a lot of people don't really pay much attention to it. But I think the Ducks Oilers is going to be a fantastic series too.
I think they're all going to be good series. I'm just thinking of the best here.
The
I
best one, okay, that's for your average hockey fan, absolutely, because you got Ovechkin, you got TJ Oshie, you got Crosby, and all the guys from the Pens who are
exactly.
big. So that easily is probably the biggest for your casual fan.
That's what I think. And then I would say after that would be Blues Predators. Now, Predators, after they just swept the Blackhawks, I think everybody's high on them. Everybody wants to take them. That's good. That's fine. They do have a good team. But the Blues right now, I think, are my personal favorite to make it out of the West. I think the Blues are the toughest team in there.
You make it out of the West.
Yes. Yeah, to make it out of the
Wow,
West.
okay.
I think they beat the Preds, and then I think they beat the Ducks. So I like the Blues, Ducks in the West, and I like the Penguins to beat the Caps. It's not their year. They're going to blow it again. And I also like the Rangers. I think the Rangers are hot. I think winning Game 5 in Montreal in overtime just, I don't know, for some reason it just changed their mentality. They're coming out there, they're expecting to win, even though they're a little sluggish in the first period against the Canadians just recently in Game 6. But I think they're gonna take it to Ottawa. I think they beat the Senators in 6 games.
Yeah,
By
I
the way,
mean, so I agree with you on that, but Ottawa's really that's the other side of that. Ottawa's not that good.
no,
Like
Ottawa's
look
okay.
at if you look at all the favorites in the series, so Vegas has the favorites as Predators over Blues, Ducks over Oilers, Rangers over. I'm getting way into this. Rangers over Senators. The Rangers have the worst odds. The Rangers are -150.
Well, the worst
So
is in there the highest favorite. Yeah, so
yeah,
Vegas
the worst
has
is in there like the least payback. Yes,
Vegas
excuse
has
me.
the least respect for the Senators, and that's fine. They're not the flashy name. Nobody wants to bet the Senators, but I'm telling you that more often than not, you got to be careful because what does Vegas want to do? They want to make it more appealing for the public. Nobody wants to bet the Senators, so that they're not going to give you the Rangers cheap, you know? So -150, -155, I think is a very fair price. I think that just watch out for the Senators, all right? They're tough.
No, I hear you because we did say this right before the Bruins Senators series. Where I was like, I really like the Bruins. They're hot, but just the payout on them was way too high.
Oh, yeah. They were -170, I think, and
Yeah,
we all
so the payout
agreed.
of being a road team too is just tough
Exactly.
to see that and take them early.
Exactly. And the one thing about the Rangers, too, with the Senators having home ice, the Rangers play a hell of a lot better on the road. They have so much more urgency. They come out
They're the best road
firing.
team this season, which is
And I think a lot of that has to do with the home crowd at MSG. I don't love Rangers fans. Maybe it has to do with how expensive the ticket is, but
tickets are so expensive and it's so much corporate money in there.
So
It's
much
not
corporate money.
I mean, you do have your diehard fans. I'm not saying there's not a lot of diehard fans there, but I'm saying for those tickets that are a couple grand a pop, that's a couple people from Wall Street picking out high profile clients.
Exactly.
That's not
exactly. You know what it reminds me
real
of?
diehard fans.
It really reminds me of a Notre Dame home game. You compared to like an SEC home game. I mean, you have the tickets are so much money that you just have like the older, wealthier people who are a little bit calmer and yell at you when you stand up, and they're not as rowdy.
Yeah, it's the same as at any college game, sitting in the alumni section versus student section. Give me the student section every day. It's not even close.
But even outside of the student section, the SEC is a lot more rowdier than Notre Dame fans. But that's how it is in Madison Square Garden sometimes. So, anyways, that's my point with the Rangers being not having home ice. Actually, makes me like them more. So I'm taking again Rangers, Ducks, Preds, and Penguins. And that's what I think.
Oh, you're taking the Preds. Wait, what?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I'm taking the Blues. Not the
I was
Preds.
like, didn't you just say you wanted the Blues? Because I want to say we actually line up. The 4 picks that I see right now are the exact same as yours. The only one I'm a little hesitant on, or the most hesitant on, is the Rangers, for what we just discussed. But my favorite pick is going to be the Blues. I was actually hanging out with a Blues guy this weekend, and he was like, dude, he told me, he was like, you definitely should have laid out the Blackhawks. I wish you would have talked to me. I'm like, fucking, I wish I would have too. But he said as a Blues fan, he likes the way they match up against the Preds too. So,
well, the Preds are favored.
Yeah, no, I know, but I like the Blues. It's close. The Blues are just plus 105, so they're pretty close in terms of money line totals. But I'm taking the Blues as well.
Give me the Blues,
and I'll ride the Ducks. Yeah. Anything else for NHL? Oh, this is actually pretty cool. I wanted to say this real quick just because I saw this, and this is just like what badass people hockey players are. But who is it? It's Joe Thornton from the Sharks. Did you see this?
MCL and ACL, yeah.
Played the entire first round with a torn ACL and MCL.
Not surprised at all.
That's really impressive.
At all. It's crazy
From a tough
impressive.
guy standpoint.
That's why I have always said, people who know me and why I love hockey, I think that the best athletes, they should be the most respected athletes out there. It's not even close. It's part of the reason why it's become my favorite sport.
Yeah, favorite sport behind NFL. Got to be behind NFL.
I don't know, man. NFL's got a lot of penalties. A lot of breaks.
I don't, it is like the last 4 minutes of a hockey game, if it's a 1-goal game, I can put that up against anything because that's just super, super entertaining chaos, especially if you get overtime. Yep. And there's been so much overtime so far, too.
Well, the overtime in the playoffs I don't really like that much. I don't like playing a full extra period of hockey. That gets kind of boring.
Especially when you get into a second overtime.
Yes. I don't like that. I think they should change that. I think the overtime format of the regular season is incredible. It's
the 4-on-4?
Yeah, the 4-on-4 is no, I think it's 3-on-3. It's amazing.
Oh, you're right. Excuse me.
3-on-3. Unbelievable. I think the most exciting 5 minutes in all of sports, however long they play. Okay, no, I think that's pretty much it for hockey. You want to touch on the NFL draft real quick? We got that coming up this weekend.
I do. I wanted to ping you, and I wanted to see if you have any guys that you've pegged out yet that you think are good over under in terms of what Vegas has them at and where you think they'll go. Just to see. My knowledge on this is actually pretty weak. But I think I have a good reason why that I can get into. But first, I want to get a good pick from you.
Let me just tell you about how I feel about the draft. I was such a big draft guy, NFL draft, when they had it set up to where it was Saturday and then Sunday. Saturday, you had.
Yeah, I feel like I used to care a ton more about it too.
Loved it. First 3 days. The first day, Saturday, was first 3 rounds, and then Sunday was almost in a weird way. I liked it even more. But now they changed it.
I would say that Saturday I loved. I don't know why. Maybe I was younger and like more.
It's amazing.
In, like what they're drafting and how they're going to develop. But I could sit there, and I think now maybe like Twitter has killed that a little bit.
No, it's not Twitter. It's a new format. The new format stinks. So Thursday, I'm pretty sure they do the first round, and then Friday they do the second and third, and then Saturday they do the rest. I mean, it's
something like that.
It's nowhere near as exciting. And now, I think they did last year. They did Chicago. This year they're doing Philadelphia. It's like it's outdoors. I think now there's like a couple thousand people. I don't know. They're just. I'm not like against change by any means. I just don't like what they're doing with this at all. So I'm not really that into it. Also, maybe a reason I'm not that into it is because my team, the Bucks, is picking in like the middle. So I don't really care as much. It's either you really want to be at the end or you want to be at the beginning. I don't know. Right, the middle's kind of like.
Are you
weird.
Excited for the Bucks to be on Hard Knocks, or do you think that's a jinx?
That's a great question. I think it's a jinx. I don't like it at all.
I don't like it. I wouldn't like the Steelers to get involved with that.
Nope. I mean, it's like especially with Jameis. I mean, he's he's a very charismatic guy. He's got a great personality for the show, but I don't want to have him in front of a camera for weeks on end. I mean, it's a recipe for disaster. Don't like it at all. But just to touch on the draft real quick. Also, aside from my team really not being in an interesting spot and the format changing, I I don't really care too much about the guys coming out of this draft, as in they don't really excite me. The quarterback position is kind of blah to me. I don't really like any of the quarterbacks coming out. I mean, the Trubisky guy from North Carolina, I guess, is going to be the first quarterback to get off the board. And then you've got Deshaun Kaiser.
Yeah,
you've got Kaiser, you've got Deshaun Watson, and I don't know. I'm not really high on any of them, to be honest with you. I think Kaiser should certainly be staying at Notre Dame again. Brian Kelly got a lot of shit for that. But honestly, I think the best, looking back at like 5 years later, who's going to be the best player out of this draft, I really like, and he's been getting in some trouble, no doubt about that, is Reuben Foster from Alabama. You know, the inside linebacker from Bama?
Yeah,
he just recently failed the drug test, and I'm pretty sure he got in a fight with somebody while he was waiting to take the drug test at the hospital. But that guy's a freak, and I think a good middle linebacker takes you a long way. So
yeah, what was the line? I sent you a couple props. I think the line on Alabama guys in the first half is 4.5.
I like the over. Yeah, I like the over. I don't even care what the number is.
I think people love Alabama players. Just in general.
It's gotten to the point. Yeah, I think it's gotten to the point where people have a plan, maybe of who they want or position they want, and then if that guy gets taken, they're just gonna say, "All right, well, who's from Alabama? let's take that guy."
Well, no, on par with idiots really decreasing their value this week. You saw this Caleb Brantley from UF.
Of course I did. Yeah, he knocked out a woman last night
and knock her tooth out.
Saw a really funny comment that said, "I'm surprised a guy named Caleb Brantley is not a white dude."
I am really. Yeah. I mean, Caleb is just such a white name.
I bet the Cowboys draft him.
I could see that.
And they're going to get a bargain. Or the Patriots. They'll turn him into a nice guy.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. Like, LeGarrette Blount was such a psycho when he went, and now he's just a phenom for the best team.
Maybe he started smoking a lot of weed. He's gotten a little bit more relaxed now. Who knows? But yeah.
Well, that smoking weed is what got him kicked off the Steelers, because he was on Pittsburgh a couple of years ago, and he was in the car with
Le'Veon
Bell. Yeah, and
the
so
Toke brothers.
Rather than kick off their, big ticket guy, they kicked off the backup, and he went on to dominate them against.
So let me ask you this, because I'm not Mel Kiper, you're not Todd McShay, so we don't have to break down the
those
prospects.
Guys frustrate me so much. It's just so much talk about nothing.
Can you imagine?
I mean, I know you're filling time, but Jesus Christ, I think it's so boring.
But can you imagine that's your job, that's your career? I can't.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be a phenom in the sports broadcasting world, I feel like there's some much better outlets than just talking about these kids coming out.
At the same time,
I find it genuinely interesting when the Steelers have made the pick and they actually have that guy. Then I'll not waste my time, but then I'll spend time and look into him.
Yeah.
But when it's just all this bullshit of who knows where I'll go, I don't know. Maybe it's just me personally. I don't get too involved with all that stuff. I wait until it's concrete and then I'll actually look at the guy.
So let's talk about maybe our specific, our teams that we like and draft picks that they've had in the past. Are there any that stand out for you, being a Steelers guy, that you like and you disliked?
The Steelers do a fantastic job drafting, and I think that's personally
great drafters.
I typically don't look at it much because they draft good guys, and they always have. But I think that's why I don't really care, because it's I can look at this and I can think about who I care to have, but I trust them, and I think they're going to make a better decision than what I obviously think. And I think if you're the Browns or some other teams like that, you might get too caught up in or Philly and boo your draft picks or some shit. At this point, I just wait until they do it and trust that they're good. So I did think this was really funny, but the Steelers, just looking it up on Wikipedia to get a little information, the Steelers' first draft pick ever in 1936 was from Notre Dame, and his name's William Shakespeare. Just thought it was really random.
That is random. Isn't today National Talk Shakespeare Day too or something?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I fucking
all right.
Every day's a day. But I mean, you look back at their past draft classes, and it's Joe Green, Terry Bradshaw, Franco Harris, Lynn Swann, Rod Woodson.
Okay, Greg, I'm talking about in your lifetime. Jeez, you don't need to read off Wikipedia lists to me.
No, I'm just saying they have consistently drafted well for decades. My
Yes.
favorite draft pick of theirs of all time is my favorite player of all time still is Troy Polamalu.
Oh,
So, I mean,
yeah.
that was one where you saw it and you're like, this guy could be really good and then exceeded all your expectations. I mean, he